All right, now, when we're talking about multiplying and dividing by powers of 10, okay, what we're talking about is this. For example, let's say I said 4 times 10 to the first power. Okay, well, 4 times 10 to the first power is 40. If I had 4 times 10 to the second power, that would be 400. If I had 4 times 10 to the third power, that would be 4,000. You will notice that the number of zeros in the number correspond with the exponent in the number. Okay? The number of zeros in the number correspond with the answer. Okay? Now, what you are doing is this. When you multiply by a power of 10, then you move the decimal to the right the number of places of the exponent. Okay, so let's look at what we're talking about. Let's say I have 34 times 10 to the second power. Okay, you can't always say that you just add zeros. Okay, I can't say that I just add 2 zeros. Okay, the reason you can't say that, okay, is because eventually you're going to be multiplying by numbers that have decimals in them. Numbers that have decimals, you can't just simply add zeros or subtract zeros. You have to actually move the decimal place. Okay? Brandon, sit up for me. All right, now, so in this one, if we take 34, the decimal in 34 would be right there. We would simply take and move that decimal once 2 places, because of that 2, to the right. And I would add in zeros, thus giving me 3,400. Now, I know what you're going to say, well, we just added 2 zeros to 34. Well, the problem you have is this. Let's say I have 34.2 times 10 to the second power. Okay, well, if I just add 2 zeros to 34.2, did I change the number? No, that's the same number, regardless if I have 2 zeros or, I don't have 2 zeros. Okay, so when you're multiplying it by a decimal number, then we have to take 34.2 and move the decimal once, twice, and add a 0 there, and that gives me 3,420. Okay, because we moved it once, twice for that exponent. Okay, so Okay, so when we multiply by power of 10, we move the decimal, let me rephrase that, by a positive power of 10. Move the decimal to the right. Okay, because we're going to look at some negatives here in a second. Right now we're just going to deal with the positive part of it. Okay, so if I had this number then, if I had 5.06 times 10 to the third power, what would my answer be? Celine. True. Yeah. The answer would be 5,060. Now, why it is 5,060 is because we take the decimal here, and we move it once, twice, 3 times. And then we have to add a 0 right there. And so that gives me 5,060. Okay, we had an exponent of 3, so 3 places to the right. Okay, so let's look at this one. 57,000 times 10 to the negative first. Okay, so if we move it to the right, if it was 10 to the first, we'd move it to the right, correct? So if it's a negative, which way do you think we move it? To the left, okay? So we move it one place to the left. So in 57,000, my decimal is right here, and I move it one place to the left. And that gives me 5,700. Okay. We move it left. You move left because of the negative exponent. Okay, so when you multiply a number by a negative power of 10, you move the decimal to the left. The number of times of the exponent. Okay, so let me look at another one of those. Let's see here. 17 times 10 to the negative third power. Okay, well that's 17. The decimal would be right here to the right, to the far right, behind the 7. So I would take that decimal and I'd move it once, twice, 3 times. And I need to plug in a 0 right there. So the decimal then would be right there. So my answer would be 0.017. Now, understand, this only works on powers of 10. Okay? It wouldn't work on, 5 times 2, obviously. So I want you to do these 3 numbers. 3.4872 times 10 to the first, 3.4872 times 10 to the second, and 3.4872 times 10 to the third. Okay, do those real quickly. All right, who has the answers? Tristan. Thank you for volunteering. Do what? I want you to tell me the first one. What now? Say it again. I think you said it right. You sort of blah, 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 blah. 34,000? No, not 34,000. No. Where's your decimal at? Okay. So it's 34.872. You don't have to worry about trying to go, 10 hundredths, thousandths. Okay. Now listen, Miss Celine. How many times did I write move, 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 move? I wrote it 3, 4, 5 different times, and I told you not to add zeros. If you add zeros, you're not going to get it right. So, the second one, Owen, what did you get for the second one? Yeah, 348.72, and then Emma, what did you get for the last one? Yes, 3,487.2. So those are your 3 answers, okay? Moving, we'll write it again for Celine, moving the decimal to the right, not adding zeros. Okay? All right, now, let's talk about division. Division of powers of 10. Now, understand that powers of 10 can either be, like we said, 10 to the first power, which is 10, 10 to the second power, which is 100, 10 to the third power, which would be 1,000. Okay, so any of those could be powers of 10. Okay, now when they talk about powers, it's usually something raised to an exponent. Okay, but understand that if I took 3.4 times 10 to the third, that would be the same thing as 3.4 times 1,000. Those are the same problems. Okay, so understand that this rule works with either one. Okay, here we have 3 zeros. So that means you move it 3 places to the right, just like with the exponent of 3. Okay, now division. On division, division problems, for example, 51.16 divided by 10 to the first power. Okay? Well, 10 to the first power is 10. So we have one exponent. You're going to move the decimal one place to the left for division. Okay? So for division, we're moving the decimal, not adding zeros, moving the decimal to the left. So if I take 51.16 and I move it one place to the left, that would make 5.116. Okay? So if I did 51.16 divided by 10 to the second power, then I would go 51.16 and I would move it once, twice to the left. And that would be 0.5116. So I moved it two places to the left. The reason we move it left is because we are dividing. So, when we divide a number by a power of 10, we move the decimal to the left. The number of places of the exponent. Let me highlight the word move. So, do this one on your own. Let's say here I have 93.1 divided by 10 to the third power. You woke up. Just joking. Hang on, I'll give him few more seconds here. I'll call on you. Jesse? Well, I'm not calling on you. I'm just telling you to quit high chopping your pencil. All right, Tristan, what'd you get? Point what? I think you said it right. Just say it again. Yes, that is correct. 0.0931. Here's what you have. 93.1. We have 3 as our exponent, so we must move the decimal. Whoops, not there. Decimal's over here. 1, 2, 3 places. That means we must put a 0 in front, and you have 0.0931. Okay, if that would have been 93.1 divided by 10 to the 5th power, then we'd take our 5, we'd have 93.1, and we would take and move it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And we would have to fill in with zeros there and and so that would give us 0.000931. Okay, 5 places to the left. Okay? So, your homework is 7.3, going 3 through 8, (15) through 41. Why do I hate you? I don't. You move a decimal. It's real hard. Yeah. Write the original problem. Show your work of moving the decimal. Hey, I could have gone 1 through 41.
Oh, no, I'm good. Never mind.
I mean, I can do that for you if you'd like. So those ones I cut out, each one of the ones I cut out has 4 answers to it. So, all right. So if you completed your test yesterday, start working on the homework, because you got about 20 minutes left in class still. Okay. If you haven't finished your test, clear your desk off. Okay. Get a pencil out, and I will hand them out to you. The test.